You know that feeling when you have a million things to do, but instead you find yourself scrolling Instagram, tidying your desk, or watching just one more YouTube video? Yeah, me too. But what if I told you that procrastination doesn't have to be the problem? The real issue could be how you procrastinate, and if you do it right, you could use it to your advantage. In this video, I'm going to show you how to turn procrastination into a productive superpower, so you can still get things done even when you're avoiding work. Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Charlie Bailey and I'm the founder of Raw UK, an online course business. Here on YouTube, we help small business owners, founders, solopreneurs and multi-passionate professionals level up their skills so that they can thrive doing what they love. So let's get stuck in. So the first thing I want to talk about in this video is why we procrastinate in the first place. Procrastination is often perceived as laziness. The person who procrastinates a lot must be work shy and unmotivated. They spend all of their time avoiding what they should be doing and wasting their time on meaningless distractions. But this is such a misrepresentation. Procrastination isn't laziness. It's actually often born out of fear, overwhelm, and perfectionism. Our brains are protecting us from something that we perceive as difficult or confusing or that we could potentially fail at. And for those of us with ADHD minds, it's a form of task paralysis. 9 times out of 10, we want to do the thing, but something in our brains is not letting us and we end up physically and mentally stuck. And when we feel this stuck feeling, our brains crave things that are going to bring us comfort or instant gratification to help us to feel better. That's why when we procrastinate, we often pick easy, dopamine-filled distractions like social media and find ourselves wasting literal hours of our lives, winding up feeling down and frustrated because we haven't actually achieved anything. But it doesn't have to be this way. Procrastination doesn't have to be a black hole sucking the activity and energy out of our day. Instead, procrastination can actually be an opportunity. And this is where I'd like to introduce you to the concept of positive procrastination. Positive procrastination is where, instead of wasting our time on meaningless distractions, we redirect our procrastinating into something useful. The key underlying principle is essentially that if you're going to avoid doing your main task, then you may as well do something else that moves you forward in some other way. Some basic examples could be, instead of scrolling TikTok, you watch an online course related to your goals. Or instead of watching random YouTube videos, you watch an educational one. Or instead of playing mindless games on your phone, pick up that musical instrument that you've been meaning to learn to play. It's a case of swapping out those negative distractions that leave us feeling empty and like we've let ourselves down for positive ones which improve our life in some way. However, although it sounds easy, it does take some forethought, some careful planning, and strategically setting up your environment so that it's easy to choose the positive distraction over the negative. So let's talk about the practical steps that you'll need to take to implement positive procrastination into your daily life. Step 1, identify your common distractions. What do you normally do when you procrastinate? For example, scrolling, Netflix, gaming. You might need to spend some time observing your habits and go-to distractions for a week or so. It's really important to take this step so that you can be aware of those time-sucking negative distractions, and then you'll be able to swap those out for positive ones. Step 2, identify productive alternatives. Firstly, if you haven't done this already, make a list of your goals and the things that you'd like to achieve. Then identify some easily accessible activities that link to each one of those goals. For example, one of your goals might be to get fit. An accessible activity linked to that goal might just be going for a short walk. If you have a goal of learning French, then an accessible activity might be listening to a beginner's French podcast or picking up a French easy reader. If you want to learn graphic design, an accessible activity might be watching the next lesson in an online graphic design course. It's important to actually write a list of all of these easy to access activities. You're going to use this almost like a positive distractions menu to pick something from when you feel yourself on the verge of procrastination. Speaking of positive distractions, if you're enjoying this video, please do like, subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from it too. Thank you. Now back to the video. Step 3, set up your environment for success. This is the bit which takes some thought and some structure. What you'll need to do is run down that list of positive distractions, and for each one, you'll need to work out how to make it super easy to pick up. You need to take as much friction out of the process as possible. Think about how easy and effortless it is to pick up your phone and start scrolling. There is almost no friction in that process, so it is way too easy to get sucked in. In an ideal world, you want to massively increase the friction between you and your negative distractions like your phone. For example, by putting it in another room, making everything grayscale, putting app timers on, or maybe even giving it to someone else for a few hours. And then you want to decrease any friction between you and your positive distractions. For example, if one of your positive activities is to play the guitar, then actually have the guitar out on a stand by your desk, set up and ready to play. Since we moved house and I set up my office, I now always have my guitars available and visible, and I play them so much more now, and my playing has improved tenfold. And that's just because the act of picking them up and playing them has got so much less friction than before. I would have to go and get the case from another room, take the guitar out of the case, set it up and probably retune the whole thing before I could sit down and play. I've now made it easy to choose playing the guitar when I'm on the verge of procrastination by removing all of the friction from the process. And this can work for any of your activities. If one of the items on your positive procrastination menu is taking an online course, have that page bookmarked in your browser so that it's easy to jump back in and complete the next lesson. If one of them is to do 20 minutes of yoga, get your yoga pants and your mat out in advance and put them somewhere within your eyesight. The key is to have your positive procrastination menu available to refer to, and then the required equipment accessible and visible to make it as easy as possible to choose one of these positive distractions over a negative one. But remember, even positive procrastination can become a distraction. So do try to set boundaries like timers or tricks and incentives to get yourself to stop procrastinating and start doing your main task. So it turns out that procrastination isn't actually your enemy. You just need to use it strategically. If you can put a bit of effort in up front by building your very own positive procrastination menu that's linked to your goals, and then put the structures in place to reduce the friction between you and your positive procrastination activities, you could end up achieving far more than you ever imagined. I'd love to hear if you try this out, so in the comments let me know what's on your positive procrastination menu and how this trick works for you. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video.